We welcome you back. And a reminder that the remainder of our show today is a call-in. If you have questions for Chandra, the number is 703-663-3333. So Chandra, what's happening on campus?
Oh my goodness. There's so much happening on campus.
It's a busy place.
It is a busy place. So we have on the 17th, we have our annual board presentation. So we'll recap last year, accomplishments, and then our financials for
This is from the members of the board?
Yes.
Not just our resident council, but the board?
No, exactly. So
okay.
It's the National Senior Campuses Board, our what we call the CRC, or the Community Relations Committee, Jackson Bain, Eileen Ersted, and Roy O'Connor, who is our resident member.
Right. And that's going to be where on the 17th?
So that is on the 17th in Hunter's Crossing. It'll be from 2 to 3.
Okay.
And then following that, we'll have a reception.
Okay.
So we can mix and mingle with the board.
The dining services people always come up with something special.
They always do.
Yeah.
They always do. And it's a nice time for the residents to kind of chat with the board members, but also amongst themselves and socialize. But
I did read that the financial statement is coming out, if people would like to review that before the board meeting.
Yes, so what we do is we put out packets. We should have them out, if I'm not mistaken, tomorrow. They should be out.
That's
at
the date that I read also.
At the desks. And then we need more copies. You can come to administration to get them.
Okay.
We don't print 2,000 copies because people don't all take them.
But if you would like to read it, they're available
Yes,
to you.
available.
This is where you can get the real financial facts
Exactly.
about Green Spring.
And it's the audited financials, so it's
okay.
It's all right there.
Okay.
And then and it also has the board information that we submitted to the board of directors also, which is
okay.
a recap of 2018.
So a good document for all of us to read, to be
absolutely.
Educated about our community.
Absolutely. And I think what's wonderful is that they have the chance to come and see the residents and get to know the residents, which they do on a regular basis, but this also offers the opportunity to have dialogue.
Right.
If there's a question or
so that's on the
something.
17th at what time?
And that's from 2 to 3.
From 2 to 3 in Hunter's Crossing.
Hunter's Crossing.
Good.
And then the reception will be afterwards. We also have on Monday, we have the coffee with the exec team,
okay.
which is our...
Not today, Monday, next Monday?
Yes, exactly a week from today, our standard time, which is 1 to 2.
Good.
And then these days it's been going really 1 to 2:30 because we always have so much information to share.
And that's wonderful.
Yes, it is. So the great thing is that people are not leaving and they're not following.
I've noticed that too.
Sometimes people lose interest and they fall off with the interest piece of it, but they're not.
But people are staying in place and
listening
to all the information
absolutely.
and listening to the questions that
so
are
we're
asked.
not boring them, which is good.
No, not that.
And so we'll be talking about multiple different topics, town center, and then also Village Square refresh, and just kind of seeing the progress. And I know there's a lot going on. We've got cafe coming up.
Just today, before we leave Village Square, that the restrooms are closed off on the main floor, which tells us that the restrooms on the terrace level
are done.
Are finished, and I guess they're beautiful. I haven't looked, but
yes.
They're finished and ready to use.
And I've gotten really good feedback. So Friday, I had residents that were saying, "Oh my gosh, everything's so fresh and new and clean, and I love the colors." And
good.
That just gives me a sigh of relief because we want to make sure that I know not everybody's going to love the colors and the choices, but
you can't
interior
everybody.
Designers, that's their job to put it together.
It's really very nicely done.
Yes. So
yeah.
I think I've gotten really great feedback so far.
Well, we hear so much around with people saying, "Oh, why do we have to do this? Isn't it all right the way it is?"
That's interesting you say that because
I have a good example. If I can give you my example.
Yes.
I was walking in town center last night. I was walking past the music room toward the card room and all of that, and I looked at one of the doors, and it's all scratched up, and some of the molding was starting to come off of it, and in addition to other things, there are cupboard doors that are falling off just from use.
Right.
It's time.
It absolutely is time. And I think sometimes change is not good in the sense for people don't accept it the same way,
Mm-hmm.
but at the end it really does provide a better atmosphere that's more comfortable for our current residents. in reality, it also secures the investments that you all have made as residents.
And that's probably
in
the
this
most
community.
important thing to remind ourselves of. Is that, well, I can get along with this shabby old chair, but someone coming to think about moving here might go, oh, those shabby old chairs.
Right. And I think people ask that question is, are you doing it for the residents moving in? And my response is, it's really for everyone.
For all of us.
It's for the people that live here. It's for the people that work here. It's for the sense of security for the investment. As our residents move in, there's an entrance deposit that they pay. Now, the entrance deposits at Greensprings have appreciated year after year. So you're guaranteed to get that back in whether you leave or, you know, if you pass away and it goes to your, you know, your heirs or your trust or however you plan on leaving it. But there are communities, you know, that don't appreciate, and they've let their, you know, their atmosphere become shabby. And no one wants to move there. So they're not able to resell the units, and so, you know, you don't always get that entrance deposit back if you're not reselling.
If your unit hasn't resold, yes.
Right. And so we've been really fortunate that we've done really well, and we want to continue to be, you know, the premier provider, and our competition is doing it. Everyone's doing it. I'll have to tell you, even the McDonald's down the street from me just redid all their colors, and, you know, everything has to be fresh.
Right.
And so that's where it is. So it is a little bit of upheaval. We all understand
we can do that. Now, we'll remind people that the cafe, this is the last day that the cafe will be open.
Yes, the last day the cafe will be open. We'll be serving out of the fireside. Now, I know that the window we're looking at is 6 months for this phase. It doesn't necessarily mean that the cafe will take exactly 6 months, but there is a stairwell that has to be installed. So the dumpsters will be in the front of town center for us to do demolition, and all of those items will go out that window.
Yes, that's going to be exciting.
Yes.
We were talking about that. They're going to put a dumpster where the refrigerator has been outside.
2 of them, because there's a lot of stuff that needs to come out.
That'll be fun. I guess we're not invited for demolition duty, huh?
Probably not.
That sure would be fun, wouldn't it?
It'd be great to let out some stress to do demolition.
So tell us why we're adding a stairway.
So the stairway is because when the community was built, the requirements were different. And 20 years later, when you go back and you do any kind of repositioning or renovation, you need to bring it up to code.
Okay.
So this is for fire safety. It's a mode of egress.
It's an additional exit.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the stairwell, we were trying to figure out the best way to do it so it didn't look, you know, bad as you drive past town center to go towards Garden Ridge. So they did figure out a really
So this
nice
will exit outside.
It'll exit out there on that side
and
of the building.
There's a stairway in that area now, but it only exits into a downstairs hallway.
That's correct. That's correct. So we want to be able to have an exit outside for the cafe.
So this is for safety purposes.
It is for safety.
Right.
Yes. So it is a little bit louder because, you know, you're going through concrete. But
That's right.
Ultimately, once all of that cutting stops, the sounds do get a little bit
Things will
lower.
calm down.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
I'm hoping they'll put up if they put up a wall, they'll put some
I asked
peepholes.
about that.
Did
I said,
you?
can you put a peephole, like a peephole or a glass,
Did
you
they,
know,
what
like
they
so people
say?
can see? And they said, well, we'll look at it, but, you know, it's hard to, you know, with the product that they put up.
We'll keep asking.
But sometimes the reveal is kind of nice too, where it's suddenly like, wow, it's there.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited about that. I know that we've gotten the kitchen back. We had a really nice lunch in the cafe. I mean, in the kitchen with some of the resident council members.
And you got to watch them prepare the meal that you were eating. I bet that was
We'll
fun.
share pictures of that.
Good.
And, you know, I was just really amazed at all of the wonderful talent. And the talent that we have in our dining services has been, in the past 3 years, and Ty and his team have really worked to take people that were maybe cutting vegetables and, you know, and now they're making these great entrees or sides or desserts or wherever their passion is. And they talk about the plate being their canvas. And
oh, that's interesting.
And it really is. I mean, because they are. Chefs will tell you they're artists.
Oh, yes.
And some of their temperaments can be like artists
True. Artistic temperament.
Artistic temperaments, because they want the flavor and the balance and, you know, that umami word that everyone uses.
Sure.
But I'm a finicky eater in the sense of I eat food. I like food, but I'm picky about it. And I have to say, I was just really floored
It was good,
with
huh?
the taste and textures and the appearance.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to be able to continue to translate that.
Sure.
As,
I know
as our skill
they're
sets
very
get
passionate
better.
about encouraging their workers to
Yes.
to move up and gain more skills, which is
Yes.
really great.
So it's not just moving them up because they've been here 5 years, but moving them up because they have new skill sets.
Right.
And so
And they were some of those behind the scenes people that we normally don't see. I happened to have an opportunity just to talk to them in the hallway, and they were
Right.
so excited about the new kitchen. You're talking about, well, this is my space, and I'll have this, and I'll have this, and they were thrilled.
And we had a little luncheon for them, just so they didn't have to cook for it, just
Oh.
some pizza and chicken and things that they wanted to eat, and nothing fancy, but it was just an opportunity to be grateful and thank them.
Oh, that's
That
nice.
for 6 months, and to say that our residents, in every conversation I've had in this 6-month period, no matter what's happened, the residents keep telling me, I don't know how they do it. Make sure you thank them. Make sure you figure out a way to say they're doing a great job.
Yeah.
But and that goes so far for the team to know that at the end of the day, they're working twice as many people in one kitchen.
That was a challenge
and
that
producing
they.
1,000 meals extra out of a kitchen.
Yes.
And then carting it over and then serving it has been a monumental task
Yes.
that they've done. And so the encouragement from the residents has been amazing. And I
That's good.
take every opportunity to share that. We could not have done it without all of your all support. It just would not have been possible.
They're an appreciated group of people, and especially the ones behind the scenes that we don't normally get to see.
They really are.
It's good to have the opportunity to thank them.
Yes, and our goal with this new kitchen, the great thing about it is it's got all of these new areas to cook. We still have machinery that we saved from our last kitchen that still works, so it's not like we tossed everything
Sure,
out.
and bought new, but
Right, but it creates a safer environment because of the flow and the way that things are placed within
Good.
the kitchen. So our safety for our employees is so important. Even the flooring is not that quarry tile that's slippery.
oh yeah, it's
Non-porous.
excuse me.
Yeah,
it's
it's
wonderful. It's
wonderful.
almost spongy. It's very
And
strange.
for the knees too.
Yes.
If you think about how much people spend time on their knee,
Yes.
walking and the
Yes.
pressure it puts on their knees. So
That really makes a big
really
difference.
happy about that.
We only have
Sure.
about a minute left. I have a question that I saw in the flash that you can probably tell me the answer because I don't understand it.
Oh, okay. I may not. Well, we'll know. We'll see.
Crosswalk improvements under the town center bridge area and, well, not the pond, we know what's happening there. But what's happening under the bridge? Something about a crosswalk there?
So they want to put, if I'm not mistaken, we've got these flashing crosswalks that if you push the button, it says as you do
Yes.
at the intersections,
I know what you
it
mean.
blinks so when anyone coming around knows.
That's
that-
up on the hill by Garden Ridge.
Right.
Now, but this says
Yeah.
under the
it's-
town center
it's-
bridge area.
Yeah, I think I would like for us to probably provide clarity at
Yeah.
the coffee on that
Yeah,
because
that's a good one.
it's really when you're coming around that
That's
area.
what it's talking about.
The piece of it that we will have to consider for this is because of where the trailer and the dumpster for book construction is going, it is a little bit harder to see if there are cars coming if you're walking
Yes.
on the sidewalk. So
Important
we
to be
haven't-
careful.
Yes, so we haven't installed that, but that might be what Lynn is talking about. We've been kind of talking to the council and going back and forth on what's the best mix of safety
Sure.
measures without creating a bottleneck also.
They're flashing numbers at us.
flashing us,
They're
so.
flashing that we have to be quiet and go, unfortunately. Anything real quick that else that you need to tell us?
No, just want to make sure that everybody knows that we've got the town center. If you've got any questions, I know I've been getting questions about breakfast. Can we serve breakfast? We're working on it. So
Okay.
I just want you to know.
Okay.
That,
The
we'll
one
do.
thing I did hear that part of the plan was to stock some breakfast items in the town center store.
Right.
So an increase of what's there now. So that's a possibility.
So yeah, so we're looking at some more possibilities.
Okay, good. We'll look forward to hearing more
Thank you.
details.